how to look fit and how to actually feel fit at any age. I believe this is a question that many women are asking, that at any age, doesn't matter how you look like. And so there are people that always wanted to look better. And just because we all are being told by social media and advertisement that maybe we are not looking good enough. Well, today you are in a treat because you're going to find out how to look fit at any age. Hi, my name is Helia Singh. I'm a wealth coach and I can help you to fast track to financial freedom. Well, as part of this series that interviewing top female coaches, I would like to bring this very special topic, which is very close to my heart because I've been struggling with looking fit at different stages of my life. And I'm still struggling, or actually until now I was struggling. But now we are about to find out from a very expert person to actually, for once for all, we'll address this problem. My today's guest, her name is Samantha Chamberlain. She is not only a lecturer, but also she is a fitness coach. And now we are about to learn from her that exactly how she can help us to transform and finally not only look fit, feel fit as well. Hi, Samantha. Welcome to our
Hello.
program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Very much appreciated.
I really appreciate your time. I know you are a very busy lady. I cannot imagine. Oh my God, you are a lecturer, you are a mom, you have, I know you have pets, you have a lot to handle. And at the same time, you are there to helping other women or other clients to, go through this issue with their life. So please tell me about it. How it prompted you to become a personal trainer or a fitness coach?
Okay, so yeah, I've been a personal trainer now for 23 years. I trained originally in the UK and I've been in Australia for just under 15 years now. And since being in WA, I've been working as a lecturer here. So I was offered a job as soon as I arrived, which has been amazing. What got me into the industry was having constant issues with my health and wellness, particularly wellness. So suffering from an autoimmune condition, suffering with IBS, having constant back pain and going through medical appointments and specialists and not really ever getting any answers to how to feel better. And although during my younger years, not so much now I'm in menopause, but in my younger years, the traditional weight or whatever wasn't so much of an issue, the wellness, which is key, really, really was. So learning how to deal with anxiety, stress, pain management, the key to all of that was learning how exercise and fitness can assist and is literally the best medicine. But also what is really important is knowing what, and it's very, very individual. And as we were talking before, as I said, the more I've learned as I've got older and the more studying I've done, the less I seem to know. And the more I've realized it's such an individual process for us all, and we need to really work with specialists and a range of specialists to understand our bodies. So that's what got me into training, because I had this hunger for what can I do initially for myself, but then seeing more and more people around me that just needed that assistance. And it was much more about being well and being so everybody wants to look good. One of the questions I ask on my and that's different for everybody. I do an extensive screening when I start with my clients, my customers, and one of the questions I always say is, if you were, who would you like to look like? Who would you like to be? And it's very interesting the answers I get, because I have males and females as well, and everybody has that ideal look. And it's really very different for, again, everybody's very individual, which is good, because if we're all the same, life would be incredibly boring. So over that time I've studied extensively. I've done about 40 or 50 accreditations. Part of our industry is making sure that we stay current, and when we look at, specifically, I've talked about back pain, the research and study around back pain has changed incredibly over those years. When I was 16 and I used to get back pain, the doctor told me not to exercise and put me on Valium, which I know, yes, exactly, which is part of the journey of learning and saying, this isn't what I want, this isn't how I want to be. Now we know for everything, exercise is the best medicine. It helps with anxiety, depression, wellness, happiness. It releases all those hormones into the brain, those happy hormones, that we can take pills. We don't need to. We can get them for free from exercise. But what we need to understand is what exercise makes us happy, and that's an individual thing. So it's really working to find out what suits you and what works for your body, and that's where I come from. And before, when we're talking, what is key to that, whoever it is you choose to work with, is you find someone that knows how to listen, and to listen with intent, because you need to build up a rapport. They need to understand you, and they need to understand your life. And I really work closely to build up a picture and an understanding of what it is that my customers need in their life and how I can help them feel better. And that's multidimensional.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for that. While you were speaking, I was just actually thinking about my journey. And,
Yes.
and I was never a big fan of exercise. And the reason is, when I try to look back to see why I didn't like exercise, it's just because, at least where I grew up, and so back then, exercise was all about, it was more of a punishment. Like if you do something wrong at school, then you have to go run around the oval. Or you done this, okay, you need to do 20 sit-ups. So you always associate exercise with being punished.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point.
Yeah, and even in the movies, you see it all the time in the movies, that whether even it's an army movie or something, it's always the punishment is you have to do this, and that's to do with exercise. So that's why in my brain, I was never a big fan of that, because I always thought if somebody's running, maybe they've been told they've done something wrong, that they've been punished, that they have to run. So for me, running is the only time I'm going to run if somebody's chasing me. So why should I run? And another thing is, when I go out for a walk, or actually the way I started bringing walking into my life was just when I moved to Perth, because of the great weather, and being blessed to live near river. So you can go and enjoy the walk. But at the same time, I was listening to all the podcasts that I wanted to listen. So that was my time. So that's why, for me, it was more about listening to the podcast, that I was so eager to go to do it. So then I associated it with walking. So this is how I got the walking in there. But running is still not there, because just, oh my God, it's just so embarrassing if I'm going to run. I don't feel comfortable with it. So I can imagine the people that you are working with, they all have a lot of stories. Everybody have their own stories of why they like doing certain things, or why they don't like to do certain exercise or doing habit. So is this something you will look into it to even change their cognitive, behavior around it? Or is it something that, okay, fine, you don't like it, don't do it, we'll do something else?
It's a combination of both, and you're absolutely correct. And part of my learning over this time is there's the perfect exercise that we should be doing, but the bottom line is any exercise is good exercise. So it's finding what you like. So your strategy is a brilliant one. You've made walking thing by listening to your podcast that has become positive from negative. You don't want to run, don't run. Why are you going to force yourself to do something? As you say, if someone's chasing you, so in my mind, we'd make up a game. If I needed you to run, I'd chase you in some sort of fun game. But there's exercise can look, I think in our minds, we think of exercise being very, very one-dimensionally. And I guess what I've done and learned over the years, there's many ways to exercise. And it's just finding, so when we look at even games, so I did a workshop with someone where we actually went back and we were playing sort of games with balloons, and in this people were running, people that would not run were running because we're trying to keep balloons in the air, and then we were having to twist and turn. We're all these movements which were replicating. You could go into the gym and you could do squats, and we could run on a treadmill, and we could do rotations, but we had 15 minutes and everybody was laughing, they were together, and it made something that really, really fun. And there's so many ways that we can incorporate exercise and movement that doesn't have to be negative, and it's just finding those. And as I say, that will be different for everybody. Some people absolutely love being screamed and shouted at. As I'm a lecturer, we look at different instructional styles. So some people have to be educated to explain, have the explanation as to why they need this. So as we get older, we know we need to work on muscle mass, because once you reach your 30s, every year your muscles will decrease by about 5%. So if we don't actively work on increasing our muscle mass, and I would say to people, do you want to be the person that can't lift yourself, get up and off the toilet without help? Well, if you don't, you need to do something about it. And what can that be? How will that look like? We know our bone density decreases. Females, it sucks to be a female. Our hormones go all over the place, and we have to go through the whole life of period. So at the moment, there's so much more research being done on female around when to train in menstruation, and to understand when to do things and why you won't want to do certain exercises at certain times. Amazing research, and the way you should eat. And for females in menopause like me, who exercise, and that doesn't matter, that lovely tummy fat, it doesn't want to go anywhere. But once you start to understand these things, and that's the educational side, you can become more accepting of yourself instead of being angry at yourself or feeling that you're letting yourself down. And I think as females, we're really quick to judge ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with this, really quick to judge each other. And sometimes we have to go back and we can't change that, but we need to go back and have a reset on that mind, because we can't control. There's some things we can control, but there's lots of things, and we've talked about genetics, our cultural backgrounds, and our hormones. We can't control those. Even stress levels, we can implement some strategies, some tactics to help us manage stress. But when that stress comes, and it seems to come all at once, we can't do anything about that. And those things will all have an effect on the way, we exercise, how we feel about exercise and fitness, and our wellness. And when I look at fitness and exercise, I'm looking at it as a perspective as, yes, there's aesthetics, and everybody wants to look better, I know, but more importantly, don't you want to feel better? Don't you want to feel better about because when you feel better, you can look at yourself 2 days in a row, and if you're positive and you're feeling well, when you look at yourself in the mirror, and this is it's a subjective thing, it's not a measurable thing, you will look at yourself and you will feel better about yourself. You will look and go, I look good today. When you are feeling in pain, tired, stressed, and happy, and you look at yourself in the mirror, you will look at yourself and you will say, I look horrible today. And it doesn't matter if you're 50 plus like me, or you're 17 like my girls, 19, they will have days where they look at themselves and they go, I look great today. And they'll have a day where they look at themselves and they'll say, I look horrible, I hate myself, and it's our nature. So if we can work on that wellness aspect and controlling that, the other stuff will fall into place. And I think mindset needs to be flipped but sadly we're thrown on social media about having to look a certain way, more than even when we were growing up with magazines. I remember with magazines when I had my babies reading, oh, this person had twins and she was back in shape in 9 weeks, and feeling completely, even though I was in the gym training people, feeling completely what's the word, useless, no good, rubbish trainer. How can, and it shouldn't happen. It's 9 months to a year after having babies. It's not about being in shape, it's about looking after your baby and breastfeeding and recovering and doing the right thing, not getting yourself looking fantastic again. It's about being well and happy during that time, and the world's kind of a bit skewed, and we can't control that. That's out of our control. What we can control is how we feel and what we do, the strategies we put in place to control our own wellness journey.
No, that's amazing. It's absolutely right. I agree with you. Again, as a person that I'm about 50, so I already know exactly what you say. So, and
I wouldn't realize you look wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. So actually today morning I had a meeting with another client. He hasn't seen me for a while, so we were talking on the phone, and someone said, "Oh, you've gone blonde," because obviously I've got a dark hair. And I said to him, "Well, actually I've gone gray, and it's just to cover it up, so I've gone blonde."
Well, the hair is lovely, and your nails look amazing. I keep seeing your nails coming up, and it's like, I need to go and get my nails. And again, they look beautiful.
Yeah.
I love them.
Thank you. So that's the thing. I mean, we try to do certain things to make us feel good, okay, about ourselves and stuff, but can't help it. Sometimes you look in the mirror and say, I should have, been looking better, or I should look after myself. Or again, that judging ourselves comes in.
Yes.
Especially for women who are in authority, women who are working, and so just because we expect more from ourselves, because I should know better to do it. So, and having said that, when I had young kids, so of course that was a good excuse for me to say, I just had babies, so nobody expects me to look perfect. But now that my kids are grown up, so of course I expect myself to look good. So I mean, forget about others. That's expecting from ourselves and judging ourselves, and then it just leads us to try so many things, and then the failure just comes one top after another. So, or the way I put it is just go through 50 shades of failure when it comes to weight loss. and you just finally say, okay, that's it. I can't do it. So maybe this is who I am, but not just about accepting it. It's about that you just the self-loathing. Then you don't have anything to give love to yourselves.
And I think there's a few things we can do. So first of all, we have to accept. And again, I found this hard, and I say this in my job with all my knowledge and all my research, and being really great in the gym and seeing my weight increase, and I know all the science behind it, and many people won't know that, and I'm still saying, well, I'm doing all these things, and like, for example, there's a lot of research, and I won't go into this, and it's not my area of scope, but research into the way in which a menopausal woman should fast, for example, and how it can regenerate your body and so on. So there's all this information, and I'll do this, and it won't necessarily work for me. And for somebody else, it will, because we're individual. But we will put ourselves down, but there's lots of science. There's things going on in our bodies, as I said, genetically and physiologically, that we cannot control. And the more you understand and say, okay, fair enough, that's fine, we can do things. The things that we need to do to help with our longevity. As I say, we need to help with our muscle mass. How you do that, what that looks like, I'm not going to say you need to do X, Y, Z, because it's got to be something that's sustainable for you in your life. So I don't want to be saying these things. We know we need bone density we need to work on our bone density. These are just things, if we want a long, healthy life, that we can help with.
Mhm.
The other thing we can do is be a bit nicer to each other. If I see somebody, I try, if I see somebody and they've got a nice outfit on, just say to that person, your outfit looks lovely, your hair looks lovely, because people, you judge yourself way more than other people judge you. And it just takes a nice compliment from somebody to, and if somebody compliments you, and I'm the worst, just say thank you.
Yes.
Because most of us will go, oh no. And I got told off the other day, I was at work and somebody complimented my dress, somebody else complimented my boots, and I always make up a story. I can't accept a compliment. I'll say, oh well, I've got these,
Yeah.
and my colleagues told me off and said, hey, accept the compliments. And I think as females, we judge ourselves, and if someone compliments us, we can't accept it because we work so hard. We always give. We feel we don't deserve, and that's wrong. We've got to step out of that, and we can help ourselves with that. And that's just a tiny step, and we can do that for each other, because we feel, and there will always be people out there that judge. We're people that judge you, and go whatever, let them go ahead and do that. But there's also a huge amount of us, extremely hardworking, dedicated, caring women going through very similar things in our life, that understand, and we can support each other, whether it's a compliment, whether it's just getting up and walking around the office together, whatever it might be, just to keep us moving, to keep us active, to keep us positive. We can do that. And it's those tiny things that make the big difference, because it just makes you feel a little bit better. And we can all do that for each other as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, you're 100% correct. I remember many years ago, I attended some seminar, and one of the things this guy said was really sat with me. And I think I can, just while we're talking, I just suddenly remembered that. And it said that whatever we do, so you're going to see the effect in life. So let's say, of course, if you are a good budgeter, if you are doing certain things with your money, if you put the work in, you will see the result. The same thing for of course, the how we look. So what we put inside in terms of both food as well as the thoughts that goes inside our brain, and of course the wellness and all the exercise, then you will see the result. So yes. The result, but we are so much focused on just changing what is outside that we forget that we have to actually go from inside to get what is coming outside. And I think that's what you were talking about, the mindset, to flip that.
Yes.
But when we go to gym, it's all about, majority of it is all about outside. It doesn't work on what is going inside between, these 2 ears.
Yeah.
What's the feeling that, if I have to go do that and do the push-up, that means I'm actually punishing myself. Because in your brain, you are associating that. And that's so important for a fitness coach or a personal trainer to understand that. So that's amazing. I'm so glad that we are having this conversation, because I know as person that I went through this, and I'm still going through the same things, I know I can assume that there are so many women who have the same issue. So tell me about your program. So do you do this online, or is it through in an actual live workshop? And how long do you think that, I know, of course, there is no limit to learning, but how long do you think you can help someone to transform?
So I only run online now, so through an app. I do an extensive screening form, and then really look to get into the details of what my customer needs and wants, and understand their lifestyle and how we can make those small changes. That's set in sort of a 24-hour program, and it could be small things like a little relaxation before you go to bed, or a 5-minute reset. It might be stretches in the office desk. It might be your whole gym routine. It could be all of those things over a period of days, and then you check in when you've done those with me. So it's very individual and specific to your wants and needs and availability. So even if it's a new mum, it might be doing your pelvic floor exercises next to your baby while they're trying to go to sleep at night on the cot. So fitting in around most of us has very busy lifestyles now, and very individual to the clients, the customers' needs. So that, because I'm a full-time lecturer and a manager of a big area, it's important that I stay current. So that's my business side. So I just do the online now. I do get invited to do sort of workshops and delivery, and I do my master classes within my lecturing as well, because I teach Pilates. So I can teach Pilates, yoga, some meditation, mindfulness, all the gym stuff, specialization, teens, specialist dance space. So I've got, as I say, I've got all these different accreditations, so I can integrate that as suits the client. And yeah, so that's sort of all based online, so you can take it into your gym or outside, or your garden, or your house, or wherever it is you want to train. And then I also work closely separately within the fitness industry, because my job is training the next level of personal trainers. So really working with them to try and lift the industry, to lift the game, which is I'm very passionate about. I've actually just been nominated I don't know if I get anywhere for the WA Lecture of the Year because of all the work I'm doing. So we'll see how that goes. But that was really lovely for my team at work. And then I work very closely with Oz Active, who's a peak body nationally for fitness and activity in Australia, and again working for advocacy for fitness for all and wellness for all, so allowing everybody to have access to knowledge and good standards, and they have scope of practice and so on. So I work really closely in that space as well, just as I say, really just trying to lift the game, just so everybody, in the ways that if you go to your doctor, you still got to find a doctor you have a connection with, or a physio or anything, you should have the same thing with whoever you choose to go and see as a personal trainer or a coach, that they're educated and they're really working for your benefit.
Perfect. Because that works very well for my audience, because they all are obviously they're watching us online, and we have clients all over the world. So yeah, that's perfect for them. So I love it that when the coaches are now they're bringing they're teaching their style online, because whether we like it or not, that's how the world is going. So yes, we have to do everything online. I know sometimes we need that personal touch and really being in the live workshop and stuff, but yeah, we can leave it through other areas of life. Yes.
Yeah, so people still love, and we do a lot of research on this, especially post-COVID, people love face-to-face. With my online, you do get, so everything's got videos that give you the tutorials to link with them, and then I will ask you to send a video to me, and I'll give you feedback, and you have like the chat that's linked to me, and it's all within the one place. So it's very personal as well, even though it's online. It's not the same as physically being in the room with someone, but it's very different to downloading an app and just following a workout. It's much more individual and personal than that.
More interactive work. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and I'm so glad that finally that someone who is really thinking of lifting up this in the industry, because as much as it's so lovely to go and see all these young girls who are personal trainer, but you just think, oh my God, she doesn't get it, what my body went through. And but I'm struggling, and of course, I had to give birth to two kids, and, all kids, and my background, or I can't just leave the rice and bread and all these things, because that's part of my culture. I have to have it every day. I mean, otherwise I'm starving myself. I don't care how much veggie and lean meat you give me if I don't have my carbs. I mean, for me,
and that's just it. We're all very individual, and we need to work around those you know, yeah, as you said, it could be, it's cultural, it might just be likes, it doesn't matter. To make you take out everything that's meaningful to you isn't going to have any longevity or success. And don't forget, it's about being happy. And yes, we might have to make small changes, and you've got to want to make small changes, but they should be attainable. And I think that gets lost in translation sometimes. There are some amazing young trainers out there. I've had trainers that, yes, some beautiful young girls and boys that have come into me, and it's all been about me, and then they've gone out on their prac and they've come and they've said, "Oh, Sam, you know, you've talked about this and I've seen this happening and that, and I'm not happy, and I understand now what you're saying, or, you know, on Instagram this person's been doing this and it's really not the best thing, and I'm trying to tell my friends now that this isn't the best for them, that in the long term it might cause them injury." And so there are people out there that are some fantastic, but for everybody, it's, you just don't be afraid to chop and change, find who suits you, don't feel sort of trapped into a person. So I really strongly recommend getting advice, but finding the person that suits you. I also strongly recommend, if you've got a buddy, training with a buddy, because when there's two of you, it's a lot more fun. So if you've got someone that you like, training in pairs is fantastic too. So there's just a couple of just little strategies that can help you, but find what you like doing.
Yeah,
doing what's fun for you. So if you don't like running, don't run.
Don't run. Yes.
It says me, I hated running with a vengeance, and for some reason I just used to, until recently, force myself to run, and the whole time around would be going, I hate this, why am I doing it? I hate it. And it's actually stuffed my back up again. So that was my retribution for doing something I hate. So you will find things that you love to do.
Thank you so much, really appreciate it. And I can assume my audience, they can reach out to you via social media. So yeah, perfect.
Any questions, happy to ask. Just feel free to reach out to me. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Go and relax and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Sam, for being here and giving us your tips. So folks, you've heard it all. So if you want to look good, fit and feel good inside, so please reach out to Sam and find out about her program, so that she can help you to actually feel happy about yourself and about your life. And until next episode, have a happy, healthy, wealthy life, everyone. Bye for now. Bye, Sam.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.